much already. Well, hi. I know you all know me. We're not going to go on YouTube, but I'll still introduce myself. I'm Mojo, and I will be your keeper of arcane lore for this evening. We are playing Call of Cthulhu instead of D&D.
Yay. I'm Matt. I get to play Silas Stone, fast-talking World War I veteran, your new local sheriff.
The name is Alistair. I'm your radio host, and I'm ready to meet you, ready to start this. Let's go.
My gosh.
The other two?
That's waiting. We're both waiting for the other one to go.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
Go.
Go ahead.
I'll go. I'm Dorpheus as usual, but this time I'm playing Johnny. Little Johnny.
All right. Now I'm Tech Pony. I am playing Philip Flint. He's a native New Yorker that's an engineer for the Manhattan Project.
Perfect. So our story is going to begin in the late afternoon in the New Mexican desert. We are far from the general population. So that's what makes it seem strange that there's this extremely large Native American dwelling that looks like an old mission or adobe style building, but it's big. It's sprawling in there. We notice that it is also usually scorching in this time of day. We're in the middle of summer, but for right now, the monsoons are rolling in. Coming in is a humidity that's almost unbearable. We then pan into the building and we notice that the lights are off. And because it is that late afternoon, it's relatively dark inside the building. We can't see much. But we see lurking in the shadows is a man in a hospital gown. Now this man, he does not look like a normal patient. He looks like he's well groomed. He has nice manicured fingers. He has a nice haircut. Although he is an older gentleman, he still looks relatively young and spry for his age. But you see him as he is looking around. He has a letter clutched into his hand, and he's trying to navigate through the hallways as silently as possible. As he finally makes it to the door of the mailroom, he takes his letter and he slips it into the pile, only to then be yanked back by an orderly. You see a hand cover his mouth, and then you don't see anything more. We will then now cut to where you guys are all hanging out at the local general store. Zorpheus, or Johnny, is your local soda hop. Unfortunately, Alamogordo is a pretty small town and pretty straight-laced too, so there isn't a bar, so most people in the afternoons late at night usually hang out at the local soda jerk. The soda jerk is also this general store, and it's also the mail room and the post office because this town is so small. Across the street is the sheriff's office, and it's also the broadcast tower is next to that. So as you can imagine, most people end up congregating all here together. So if you guys want to chat a little bit before we proceed and get to know each other, that's good. You do all know each other, though. You've had familiarity with each other, and Johnny is just whipping up orders with the soda jerk, getting you anything that you want.
Hey there, Johnny boy. It's nice to see you. You mind grab me another sarsaparilla?
Oh yeah, Mr. Alistair. We got one coming right up. You know, we just had a sell newspapers this morning with you were on the front page.
I don't mean to brag or anything like that, Johnny boy, but you know what? I'm kind of a big deal. But you know what? Let me go ahead and grab one of them sarsaparillas, some of that newspaper. There you go, Johnny boy. Go ahead and keep the change. I greatly appreciate you.
Alright. You know, sarsaparilla, hand him a newspaper. Headline says Alistair overbite, or was it?
What?
Alistair overbite, fake or not?
I grabbed the newspaper, I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you, Johnny.
Well, now, Johnny boy, can I give me you got a whiskey coke in this little wickedy town you got?
We got a whiskey Pepsi.
Of course you got a whiskey Pepsi. Ain't nothing satisfying about this town. Go ahead and give me one. Rolling on over.
Slide across the counter.
He grabs it, takes a little sip, and he's like, I hate the taste of Pepsi. There's not enough real Coke in here.
I don't think.
Sipping his little
Just drink a drink.
icing it down.
Sneak a little Coke for myself.
Instead of the Pepsi. What a
Pepsi.
savage. Yeah, he pops open the glass, because 1940s, and pours it into the glass bottles.
We're in a convenience store, right?
It's like literally everything is in this store. So it's your general store. It's like your supermarket.
Yeah.
It's you got the post office is like right in the back, so you can go collect your mail. There's a pharmacy in the back, very back. Literally all in one shopping, like in one place.
I imagine there's also kind of like a diner area,
Yeah.
flipping burgers, like classic Waffle House before Waffle House. I'm like in the little rolly chair, high tower bar area.
Exactly.
Hey boys, have you heard of this new one? There was one from that old Mill West. It's Varnus. You got any of that, Johnny? It's a ginger ale.
I'll try and look behind the counter.
That's all right if we don't have it. I was just getting it for one of them events we planning.
We have a generic brand ginger ale.
You know what? I'm gonna take it. Let's see if I can pass it off as what we need. Thanks, Johnny.
I'm gonna walk over to what's Tack Pony's name?
Philip.
Well, I'll walk over to him. I'll walk over to this gentleman. Hey there, sir. You got a mighty interesting accent.
You cut out of it.
Oh.
All right.
I was like, hey,
really
how
from
you
New
doing?
York.
From New York.
From New York, yeah. I try to dabble in a little bit everywhere. Trying to give me that Midwestern thing when they say Varnas, but I don't think I quite got it yet.
You lost me at Varnas. What is this that you speak of?
Varnas. Apparently, it's their state's ginger ale.
I ain't never heard of that.
They say it's a remedy, like one of them home brews for everything.
Not here in Alamogordo. We got sarsaparilla, we got root beer, we got lots of Pepsi if you like that. We don't got a lot of alcohol here in Alamogordo.
I noticed
Pepsi.
So
Maybe
what do you do there, Mr. I didn't quite catch your name.
I'm Philip. Philip Flint.
Mr. Philip
Nice to meet
Flint,
you, sir.
what you doing here? What do you do around these parts?
I do a little bit of whatever they need me to. I'm up there at the base, trying to make sure things go smoothly for all the extracurriculars we got going on. Do a little bit little planning of this and execution of that whenever they really don't want to be bothered with it. They just tell me to fix it, and then I do.
The base? You talking about the military base?
The military base, that's the one.
Can I ask you a question?
Shoot.
I'm gonna lean into him.
He lowers it down.
So you ever heard of some chupacabras?
I think at that point you will see a man in the back approach, a military police officer, as he comes up to you boys, and he puts an arm around both of you, and he's like, well, I don't think we want to be asking any questions about the military base now, do we? Chupacabra or otherwise. And then I think he kind of pats you on the back, and he says to Johnny, he says, I'll take another Pepsi, please, Johnny.
Sure thing, boss.
Thanks,
What's your
son.
Pepsi?
Oh, can't go wrong with Pepsi, right?
Silas is just drinking his just in the most angry look in the whole thing. He's just like, this stupid small town just doesn't have anything besides Pepsi.
Oh, and I think the military police officer, he kind of looks at you, Silas, and he kind of, head nods and a little cheer, and then he kind of heads back into the shadows, and you're kind of like, he just popped out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And then as you see him recede, you see somebody, a young man, kind of pop back through. And he is not, surprisingly, a part of the military. He's just the local postman. And he kind of pops up and he says, Johnny, now this is pretty weird, but I've got a delivery for you, a letter from Larry Croswell. But for some reason, it was addressed to the general store, not to your ma's house. And he hands you over the letter.
Okay. Do I know this?
Would you like? Yes, you do know that Larry Croswell is your mom's uncle, who you are close with after your father passed away. He is a retired investigator for the area, and he was not, though, like a police officer. He was a private investigator. And so he had looked into all kinds of things and all these crazy stories that were either supernatural or local criminal ongoings that, who knows if they were true or not. But yeah, the last you had heard, though, was that your uncle Larry had checked himself into the mental hospital after a foray into the dark ongoings of Alamogordo. So if you would like to, you can read this letter to everybody, or you can keep it to yourself. But I'm posting it in general so everybody can see it. So
okay.
Don't look.
A nice little letter.
Everything all right there, Johnny?
Oh yeah, just some personal business. I'll read it late. I'll check it out later. Well, check it out.
Ain't awful young to have some personal business, don't you think, that boy?
It's a family matter.
All right.
I'm gonna lean into
There's any.
Them chupacabras is real. Put my head back
Give
on.
You give me call, Marshall. Right?
Police officer comes back out from the ether, and he says, he's just like, kind of, it's like, I got my eyes on you, Alistair. Don't you think that overbite story didn't come out of nowhere? We all know what's going on in this town. And then you keep on talking, boy. We got our eyes on you.
I'm just gonna keep looking at him, glaring at him, just drinking my sarsaparilla. Damn,
Really?
I love him.
I'm reading the letter in the background. I guess I'll talk. Hey, Mr. Alistair, you ever hear any stories about Danvers?
Danvers. You talking about?
So Alistair would probably know that Danvers is the local state mental hospital. He would know that it's out in the middle of nowhere, which is a weird choice for a mental hospital, and that there has been a lot of disappearances and mysterious ongoings with Danvers.
Yeah, and when you say Danvers, Silas peeks up a little bit because he has an investigation there later that afternoon. So he's thinking, oh, okay. He peeks up, but he doesn't make himself known really.
I'd probably then, do I roleplay that then?
You can roleplay that if you want to, yeah.
Then I would be like, Danvers. Yeah, that's right, Danvers. That's a little insane asylum way back, I think it's far east. It's kind of like way out in the middle of nowhere. It's an insane asylum. Yeah, I know a little bit about it. Johnny, why?
No, yeah, my uncle's in there right now, but I just think I should pay him a little visit, see that he's doing all right.
Now, how do you plan on getting over there, Johnny?
Well, I guess I'm gonna have to walk. Don't got no bike.
Listen here, Johnny boy. I can't let you walk all that far. Tell you what, I can go and take you over there. You can just bring a couple of sarsaparillas, and don't worry, I got you, all right? Just next time you get those newspapers, you see any of those talking about the overbite, you get rid of them for me, okay, Johnny boy? Those are fake news, Johnny boy.
I'll make sure to chuck him in the bin, mister.
All right, I got you, Johnny boy. Hey there, Mr. Phillip.
Yeah, Alistair. Yeah, I thought you were gonna Out of the kindness of your heart, huh? Just making sure he didn't get attacked by no chupacabras, eh?
I'm just saying, Mr. Phillip. If you have any information for me along the way, you could probably explain. So I'm just saying, are you interested?
I mean, I did rig up some of the machines that they were using over at that hospital because they did have a remodel that I thought we worked on, but it was real puzzling what they really needed those things for. So I'd be down to go and help you out. Take a look for myself.
Got a couple of hours here, all right.
Yeah. No more talking about them chupacabras, so you're gonna give me court-martialed, all right?
I'm gonna look into them. I got you.
Silas walks over to you guys and says, "Heard you boys are going to Danner's. You mind if I pop along with you?"
Oh, hey there, Mr. Coke. What's your interest in Danvers?
Well, as I'm the new local sheriff around here, I heard my partner, or the old guy, went missing. Just looking to investigate some things around here. Heard there's a lot of disturbances around here.
Disturbances, you say? You piqued my interest. Because you know what? I say we get this ragtag team going along. I think that'd be pretty fine. Johnny boy, go ahead and ring us up some soda pops. You guys want to hit the road right now?
Well, I think it's a little late right now in the afternoon, but tomorrow might be good.
I tell you what, it's getting a little late in the afternoon, but I tell you what, if we all meet here first thing in the morning, let's say about 8 o'clock, right? You guys want to meet back here and
at 0800?
At 0800.
Aye.
Military man.
I know a thing or two about the military. Hoorah.
I know you're. Oh, Alice, I know you were just parroting what he said.
Thing or two what they're doing out in the desert with those chupacabras.
You know about them too, Johnny boy?
It's all serious.
We'll talk about them
That
later,
sounds
right?
fine with me. I'll put some of my time in for that leave.
That's a
I don't
story
have
for
any
next week's
pressing.
paper.
Let me in on that, Johnny boy.
All right. And I'll meet you here, and I'll bring my car to come and take y'all out.
It sounds
Oh,
good. I'll
riding
go ahead and go
style.
down there, too.
So,
Okay. Well, you can either could proceed with your night, or if you would all like to head home to your personal residences, that is good too. Just let us know.
Is it late in the evening?
Let us.
It's late in the evening right now. Just so you know, like Alistair, you would have a morning radio show, but it would be like very early in the morning, so you'd be like coming after work. Johnny has to run his paper route in the morning, but he probably has now asked the soda jerk, or the general manager. He's like, if you want to role play that, we can role play you asking for time off. But
I'm off tomorrow morning.
you're up tomorrow morning.
Off some random Tuesday.
These young people these days, they don't even ask. They're just crazy. They just tell me, John, if you weren't you were the best soda jerk we have, so I'm gonna let this happen. But just so you know, I don't appreciate this attitude. I think you're getting a little big in your britches just because you're so popular. So that's perfect. Philip requests leave. Okay, perfect. So, if you guys want to keep on going, go for it.
I'll just roleplay
I'm
me
working.
getting out of here.
That's all I
getting paid for this.
I'm
Like,
on the job.
He's on the job with his Pepsi and whiskey. All right, gents, I'll go ahead and meet back here, but I gotta get going. I gotta go take care of a couple things. After I do my little radio talk show, I will be right back on board. All right, I'll see y'all later. It was a pleasure meeting you, Mr. Phillip, Mr. Silas. As always, Mr. Johnny Boy, great seeing you. And get rid of those papers for me. I'm out.
Yeah. I think Silas goes home to his wife and kids, and he does the classic, been married for 20 years. He sits in the driveway for a little bit. And
your wife, Martha, she's standing in the kitchen and she's just washing dishes, just staring at you, knowing that you're just waiting. And she's just staring. Like,
I'm really encapsulated with my job. So, my car is covered in, paper and like notebooks, and so I'm like, really, I'm distracted when I'm at home. I'm distracted when I'm there. So yeah, he just gets to the driveway and he waits a second. He pours, drinks a little bit of his morning coffee that's still in his like thermos, and it just he does a little, nick on it, and he walks into his house.
Martha, I'm sure, is doting, so I imagine her coming in, and she helps you take off your coat and your hat, and she hangs it up for you, and then she comes into the kitchen and she ushers you in, not to the formal dining, but of course to the informal breakfast nook, and she takes your dinner out of the oven, and she's like, honey, how's your day at work today?
Another day in the office, as he like kisses her cheek and pretends he really does love her, but he's just like, the classic, you've been married for like 20 years and you're just like sick of
like,
it.
I'm over you.
Yeah.
You see in the background, like, Martha's polishing knives, just considering if she's going to murder her husband or not, for taking her to this podunk town. She used to live in a big city, Charleston, North Carolina, and now she's out here in the desert, and she's resentful. So that's wonderful.
My two kids are just running around. They're super annoyed at coming to a small town versus the big city. Everyone hates me, and I'm just like...
Wonderful. Philip, is there anything you return, I assume, to the military barracks?
I think they probably sent me out to get some odds and ends for whatever heavy machinery I was trying to fix. So I, had a bag of some nuts and bolts and maybe some wiring, like a wiring harness for something. And yeah, I just tinker with that a little bit, and then tried to get to bed and get up early after getting scolded for putting in my leave.
Perfect. And then, Johnny, you return home to your mother. Do you say anything about the letter to your mom about her uncle?
Did you get along with her uncle?
Yeah, you're all close. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, she probably wants to at least know I'm going to the asylum. I will hide that he said that. I will hide the things he said about the asylum. I'll just make sure and tell her, hey, Mom, I'm going to visit Uncle, I forgot his name.
Larry.
Uncle Larry, down to the asylum.
Uncle Larry, that's good. He checked himself in for some R&R. You always know about his crazy stories he's got going on. So I'm glad he's finally relaxing a little bit. It's good for him. And then I think what she does is, you notice that, although you have a roof over your head, but you also have 4 younger siblings, and it's just your mom, so it's pretty sparse. But she goes and gets together a little knapsack for you ready for tomorrow. It just has some bread and some cheese, but at least you'll have something for you to take with you. And then she also makes a little bit of like a small pound cake for you to take for your uncle, so that way you have a little treat for him. Perfect. So.
Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome, sweetie. Well, I hope you have a good day tomorrow. You got time off though at the soda shop, right? I know we can't take off too much time. We gotta keep the bills paid. I hate to do this to you, but it's a tough world out there.
I took Tuesday off. Mr. Alistair gave me a big old tip, so I'm fine. I think we'll be good.
Oh, good. That's good that Mr. Hurst did that for you. Oh, there's good people in this town still, so that's good. So with that, I think everybody heads off to bed. And Johnny, in the middle of the night, you starts to have strange dreams about an invisible serpent. How you know it's invisible and how you know it's a certain is only some sort of deep understanding that you can feel in your soul as it slithers onto your body. It starts to take its snake tongue as it's licking upon your ear, and it's slithering, and it's starting to hiss into your ear. and then it slithers over your head and underneath your bed. And you awaken with a start. What would you like to do?
Check under the bed.
Underwear.
I'm gonna check under the bed. Okay, give me a spot hidden roll, please.
Oh, that's one of those things that Johnny's good at.
Damn.
Oh, that is a 39.
So that's a success, right?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So, under your bed, there's no evidence that was a snake had been here at all, but you do weirdly find another letter from the state hospital.
I sure could have had that snake for breakfast.
This is just for Johnny, but I'll still read it aloud. So it says, Dear Johnny, please disregard my earlier letter to you. I was having an anxiety attack. Everything here is fine. Do not come here. I need more rest and counseling. Thank you. Sincerely, Lawrence Croswell. If you could please give me a knowledge roll, we can look closer at this note.
Knowledge.
Which is an education.
Education.
Crafting bad.
Cool. Is a 20.
Oh, a 20. So you pass. So
I actually passed.
immediately you notice two things are wrong with this note. First of all, your uncle hates to go by Lawrence. He always goes by Larry, and he would never sign correspondence like that. The second thing you know is that Larry always handwrites everything. He doesn't trust typewriters. He thinks technology is taking jobs, so he's not into it. So you instantly know my uncle did not write this. But you might have greater concerns is how did this letter get into my house?
I may not know a lot of things, but I can tell what's written by my uncle and what's not.
Exactly.
As well.
So it's early in the morning, so you can either head back to bed, or if you want to start getting ready for your paper route, you can as well.
Paperboy's morning starts early. He's got to get ready.
Mm-hmm. So you start your route, so that means you actually will head over. Do you have a bicycle?
I did not.
He does not have a bicycle, so he's extra entrepreneurial. He's just walking, delivering newspapers, probably at a dead sprint. So you head over actually to the news broadcasting tower where Alistair is, because the Alamogordo News and the broadcast radio station are in the same place.
Guess I walk. Just gave my paper there to pick my papers up.
Yep, so Alistair, you should be in early preparing for your early news broadcast. So as you walk up to Mary is the receptionist, and she says, Oh, Johnny, you're in early today. Everything all right, hon?
I just getting early. I got a trip down to the asylum.
Asylum? Oh boy, what you getting into today?
Well, no new stuff. Just visiting my uncle.
Oh, well, that's good. Good for you then, son. And she hands you like this ginormous stack of newspapers that you then have to carry all yourself. And she said, well, you get an early start then so you can spend some time with your uncle. That's great.
I will, miss.
Is there anything in particular you guys are doing on this early morning to prepare before your adventure to the asylum?
I won't be doing anything in particular, more so just kind of getting ready. I think Alistair is kind of excited. He's like, a little giddy. He gets to talk with this, maybe talk about like some chupacabras and, kind of go see some crazy things, hopefully, because, Alistair's kind of excited, a little giddy. So the only thing Alistair basically got is just got his trusty notebook just in case. And then, his trusty pen and paper. And then he's ready. But other than that, he's mostly just kind of getting ready for his talk show host, just kind of going over his notes.
Silas,
Too crazy.
he spent most of his evening in the garage, away from his kids, away from his wife, making his wife clean up everything as usual. And so then in the morning, he like wakes up nice and early, gives her a kiss on the cheek. I imagine she was like already like ready and, you know, getting breakfast and stuff ready for him. And classic 1940s housewife, you know, already dolled up, making the house look nice. And, you know, he's waking the kids up to tell them to go to school. And, you know, classic like dad's there, but he's not really there type vibes. And then, you know, he just heads on into work. He's grabbing all his like notebooks and his pencils, and you know, he got sent here not on his free will, so it's you know, he basically shot a guy in Charleston and they demoted him down here, so he doesn't want to be here, so he's like drudgingly trying to like make something happen while he's here. And so that's Silas's vibe.
So the same thing. I think your wife dutifully, you know, has your briefcase ready as she hands it off to you, and she's, you know, probably just kind of asking, so like, what time are you gonna be home for dinner?
Oh, you know, I never know what time. It could be in the evening. Just, you know how work goes.
She said, and I think she just is a very unimpressed. And she says, well, you have a great day then, hun. And she like gingerly kisses your cheek, and I think then she just retreats back into the house.
He just like nods his head, and he's like, all right, see you kids, keep your mom out of trouble, and don't spend all my money. And then he like walks away.
She then takes like money out of your wallet.
Yeah.
I was like, this is my...
This is my allowance for the day. So I gotta go get groceries and go shopping.
Or Jetson style.
It's like the Jetsons. She takes the wallet.
She takes the wallet.
And here's your... Exactly. Perfect. And Philip, how's your morning?
Philip probably was not up late. He probably got up early, knowing that he had his day off, right? But he's gonna go spend it, and he was probably still working on some of the soldering and the wiring, just getting some of the things done and tidied up. And he felt like he got to a good stopping point, and he's like, "Oh, all right, he researched a little bit what type of project they had with what he was working on, which was probably a year or so ago. I don't know if we roll for it to give us any type of, but he's thinking that they were getting some type of, I almost want to say it's some type of chair, like that they needed, almost like the old style, you know, shock therapy chair.
Okay.
He helped rig up some of the electrical repair stuff for that, some of the riggings that could have the weird helmet and stuff.
Okay. I think you just did that if you want to say that about what you worked on. So, sounds good. So you're like refamiliarizing yourself with that. Okay.
He was going through
Perfect.
some of his papers and stuff because he kind of like he has some of the drawings, but he also likes to keep his own notes of what he's accomplished, because whenever he gets his chance, he wants to be that young upstart that makes his name for himself. So he's really trying to prove, hey, this is what I worked on. This is what I worked on. So back to his files and said, all right, so we rigged up some of these chairs that had some currents running through them. I'm not sure if it was for, he's kind of thinking, I guess it looked, you know, people size, but they could have been anything.
Anything.
Could have been something.
Perfect. Well, at this point, I think all of you start to congregate in the middle of town at the general store, which is also across the street from the sheriff's office and the news broadcasting tower. So it's like, I think all of you just kind of opening the doors out of your respective offices, and you just all see each other instantly. And you're like, right on time.
I was just cruising on his little Pontiac, just a little Ford, whatever.
I get the classic Crown Vic, like the old school, like, I don't know if it's a Crown Vic, but I get the old school police officer car out of the sheriff's den. So we roll up into it. It's like trudging along. It hardly works because it's an old town, so it's like, there's not really like a good mechanic. It just is like everything in his life is falling apart.
Mm-hmm.
Drives up and says, "All right, you guys ready? Y'all ready to go?"
Alrighty, I'm certainly ready. I'll go ahead and get shotgun if you don't mind.
By all means.
I'm gonna go ahead and pull around, just going in there, popping open the door because I'm selfish. Just go and pop in there by myself.
All right, Johnny, let's go.
Yeah, he lets the rest of us into the back.
Johnny Boy, Philip, hurry up, let's go.
It's a fine car you got here, Silas.
Oh, thank you so much. This isn't the super nice one. This is just the sheriff's car. The super nice one's in his garage that he fixes up every night and day, and that's what he spends most of his hours doing, is there and watching Civil War or reading about Civil War stuff.
Perfect.
So he fixes cars?
Yeah, that's what he does for his...
his wind down time?
Yeah, his wind down time is Civil War reenactment and fixing old model cars. So he has like a really nice classic car, and then he drives this really old beat down sheriff car.
Perfect.
I didn't think I'd end up in the back of a police car so soon.
There you go. I want you to keep on a straight and narrow there, Johnny. This is a lesson to be learned.
Yes, sir.
Alright, and we start cruising over to the hospital.
Perfect. So the hospital is remote. More remote than you think is practical. As you cruise out there, you're kind of rounding your way up a mesa, so it's kind of in this circular pattern, very gradual incline. There's no trees. There's just shrubbery, basically, only. And as you make your way up, you see this somewhat still functioning. It almost looks dilapidated, though. Old adobe mission style residence. It's not a residence, though. It's a hospital. It's only one floor, but it is sprawling up on the top of this mesa. And as you pull up, you notice that it does say, Danvers State Mental Asylum. And you are at the right place. The old doors are there, and you can tell clearly that it's like a circular entrance, and that's where you're going to want to pull in at and head inside to the front desk.
Yeah, I think Silas leads the way. And is it a woman or is it a...
It's going to be a woman. It is. She has beautifully coiffed blonde hair, red lipstick, wearing a classic nurse's outfit with the little hat. And she looks very pleasant, and her hands are on the front desk, and she says, "Well, howdy, y'all. How can I help you today?"
Morning, ma'am.
I'm gonna immediately cut Silas off because I'm like, I was like, "How you doing there, Matty Dame? It's a pleasure to meet you. My name is Alistair."
Oh, Alistair, you sound awful familiar to me. Are you on the radio?
I don't mean to brag, but kind of am.
Oh, that's interesting. You see, you say some interesting things up there. My boss has a lot of opinions on you.
Well, listen here. I've been leaning in too close to her. Your boss doesn't always know what he's talking about.
I think he usually does.
We all really have a lot of opinions on that guy.
Silas is just looking down, just like, this isn't the first time he gets cut off in normal conversation. He's just like, and then he looks up and he goes, "Ma'am, we heard some disturbances were going on here. I'm just going to do a little investigating. Where can I walk around? Free spirit? Do I need any passes? What's the protocol?" Obviously, I'm the sheriff, so I can do whatever I want, but, I'm just trying to
Said in character.
Okay, yeah.
Said in character.
He's like, in character for sure. Size is
can I see your badge, sir?
Yeah, he gladly pulls it out and shows her.
And then go ahead and make a law check for me, though.
Ooh.
Can I light up a cigarette?
It's the 40s.
So the 40s, you will.
On
Pull out a
11.
cigarette and go,
Okay, so a hard success. So she straightens right up and she says, "Oh, of course, Chef. Of course, Chef Stone. Let me just get you something ready. Who are you here to see? Are you trying to visit somebody?"
Well, I'm just here to see a couple people. You know, I heard some disturbances. I think my friend here, he's here to see his uncle. I don't remember what he said his name was. Larry, I think. But...
Oh, Larry Coswell. Yes. He's very dangerous. You know, very dangerous. He's back all the way in J block, which is where we only keep the most violent people. I'll have a couple of orderlies escort you, but I can only let you to Larry right now. And she goes ahead and she writes you all, you know, like a little note that basically you have permission to show the orderlies.
And then he says, I don't think we'll need the orderlies. And as he like kind of pulls out his gun just to show him like, hey, we're good, you know.
Make an intimidation check.
31.
And what is your
65. Half is 32.
Okay, so another hard success. This would have been a she goes, "Well, I can't let you in without any orderlies. It just is not possible. But I can have I can have Jared take you out back. He's a little less, observant than the other ones. And so you have just one orderly. Jared is coming up front, and you can see, he is in the classic, just like a white shirt with white pants, a belt, like a utility belt he has a big ring of keys. And he is kind of like, J-Block, seriously? And he's very exasperated that he has to walk you back. But he starts the long walk back. So it'll start with a series of keys. So
Gotcha. Silas hands her over, a couple dollars and tells her like, thank you. And winks at her. Very flirty for someone who's happily married,
In the 40s. Happily married in the 40s. It's normal protocol.
Off put. She's just like, just flashed a gun at me, and now he's trying to flirt. Like, classic, typical man.
Yeah. I'm going to show you what I'm working with here.
She's just like, not impressed, but also like not going to say anything about it either. It's just like another day in the neighborhood, right?
Yeah. Probably used to be hit on by every single person. Yeah.
Someone comes in, she's beautiful. So Jared kind of like looks at you and is like, can I see your passes? And then literally what have you just kind of shows him. He's like, okay, like doesn't care at all.
You presented literally anything in your pocket.
Is Jared a portly fella?
He's big, like 6'4", big man. And he's kind of chunky, but he's also just like kind of slow. Not just mentally, but just everything is slow.
Ain't got no hustle.
So he begins opening a series of doors. You notice right off the bat that this does not look like how a normal mental hospital would look. These are iron bars, like how you would have in your jail at the sheriff's office. And when you begin to look, you are going back, and A looks very normal. There are people who look medicated and are rocking, but they're not really moving very much. As you move to B cell, it starts to get a little bit more excitable. People are moving around more, maybe jittering, kind of mumbling to themselves. And as you proceed back, it gets worse and worse. And as you make it to D block, you notice that the men are naked and they're horribly battered and bruised. There's blood on them. There's feces, and just like they're in very bad shape as they're getting washed and showered by hoses. And as you see in the bottom of the water in the puddle, Silas, you see something. Can you make a sanity roll for me?
16.
16. So in that moment, you see an otherworldly being skitter across the water. It's only there for a second, but it's horrific. It has the heads of a lion's, the heads of a lion's, the body of some sort of serpent, and these horrific talons. Although
He's the one that saw, right?
he's the only one who saw it.
Okay.
Silas, it's you passed your sanity roll, so you take 0 damage, but for a second you still pause. You have to gather yourself as you are looking at what you're seeing here.
And yeah, he then goes and he like holds in some throw up, and he looks over at Jared and he says, "What in God's name are you guys doing in here?"
Jared just looks at you and he's like, "This is all standard business. No other day in the asylum with these crazy people." If there's any other thing, feel free to interrupt me at any time. So then we proceed
Can I notice what did I? Can I notice that if he did anything, like that his reaction?
That Silas's reaction? No.
Yeah, no, I noticed Silas.
You
Okay.
you have no idea what has happened.
Do I see all these naked men?
You see, you see all this stuff. You can comment about the what's going on in the asylum.
I'm actually gonna look back to Johnny, and be like, Johnny boy, this is your uncle's in here.
Well, by the sounds of it, he's it looks of it, he's a lot further down, which sounds a little bad.
Laird Croswell is a degenerate. He's been off his rocker since he checked himself in.
Look at Silas, who realizes he also has a 12-year-old boy. He looks back at fucking John, and he's like, "Oh fuck!" I'm a terrible dad. I'm letting him see all these horrors.
I'm a bad influence. I'm like, Johnny boy, I think you might need a smoke after this here.
My uncle is degenerate.
He hands him a cigarette.
I'm gonna hit Johnny boy a cigarette. Here you go, Johnny boy. You might need one of these afterwards. You don't got to do that right now, but
Jared looks back, and he's not gonna make you put it out, but he's kind of looking. He's like, "You might want to be careful with one of those. I've done see them take one of those and just poke that cigarette right into somebody's eyeball, just burned out the cornea." But he doesn't try to stop you or anything. He just proceeds to open the next gate into Silver.
I think what I'll probably do is be like, flick it off just a little bit and put it out.
Still hands on to Johnny.
What I'll do, I'm gonna take the whole package and just hand it to Johnny. There you go, Johnny.
He's a child.
Johnny will pocket that.
On the 40s.
Someone's willing
It's
to pay top
1940s,
dollar.
so there's no laws against kids smoking cigarettes.
Yeah. So he's had so much secondhand smoke lately, basically.
He's fine. Johnny boy is fine.
Right.
You go, Johnny
Realistically,
boy.
all of our sodas just tasted like nicotine, is what fucking
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah, they had real life cocaine and coke at the time. That's
I was
why I
like,
wanted to
all
get
of
this.
all of our soda has cocaine in it. Johnny boy is no stranger.
So you proceed forward. As you proceed forward into the next block, you see more and more agitated patients. It's not as graphic as the last block, though. They're all clothed. They're still, though, rocking back and forth. They're clawing at themselves. And you notice, though, written in chalk is a strange creature. Silas will recognize this as the creature he just saw. But to the rest of you, you see a lion with a grotesque serpent body and these horrific claws. And for most of you, all of you, you're gonna take it as a delusions, of these rambling people. Yes.
I know, obviously, because I've been dabbling in the cryptid. Is there any way that I could piece together what it is?
I wasn't gonna say at this point. No, you would have zero idea.
Then what I'll do is I think I'm gonna look up to Philip and be like, Mr. Philip, is that a Chupacaper?
What are we talking about? Get your damn chupacabra out your mouth, boy.
you see the military police officer come out of the ship. It's just and he's just I thought I told you to quit talking about the chupacabra, Mr. Alistair. And then I think he just kind of brandishes his pistol a bit, and then also just kind of fades back into the ether. And the reason, go ahead, just keep going. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think Alistair would probably be a little freaked out because he's never seen this stuff. He's all talk, obviously. He's all talk, and he's like, "Damn, this is some weird stuff. It's some creepy stuff happens in the middle of nowhere."
Yeah.
Silas has been to the big, he's from the big city. He's seen a lot of murders and crazy stuff like that. But this stuff is on a whole nother level. So he's extremely uncomfortable. He doesn't want to be here anyways. So he's this feels horrible inside his body. And also, what I was going to ask, do I remove anything from my sanity because of my roll earlier?
No, you passed, so you're okay. That was a light one. So, sometimes sanity rolls, even if you pass, you will have an automatic reduction, but that one was fine. Okay, so you continue on. You have made it to cell block F. And as you notice, you're noticing that these are female prisoners now, and they're being yanked up by their hairs as their head is getting caught, or as their hair is getting cut to make wigs, and you see they're collecting them. So the blondes are sorted with each other, and the redheads are sorted with each other, and then the brunettes. And you can just tell they're naked and they're cold, and it's just this horrible conditions for these women. But it's horrific, but it is not supernatural in any way. As you progress on from F to
Silas
G,
a little bit as he
as the naked woman.
Seeing Philip gathers up Johnny and is like, we should probably just mosey on here.
Yeah. Jared is like, don't look at the women. They're crazy. You don't want them anyway. Come on. And
but how crazy scale is out the chain?
I was just flirting a little bit with them. Hey, what's up?
Silas and Alistair in the back just
I'm just talking hey, how you doing?
As you make it to the next cell block, you smell the most fetid and horrible. It is not just piss and shit you are smelling. It is an actual rot. You can smell something is dying here. And as you're crowded around Jared, getting ready to enter the next cell block, a man rushes up to the bars and he slams into it, and he's trying to push his face into the bars. And as you look at him, you notice that his eyes have been gouged out, and there is infection and rot running down his face as he screams at you, saying, "Please let me out of here! Please let me out of here! I'm not crazy! I'm not crazy! I've really seen him, a serpent, a beast!" And you see another orderly kind of yanks him back from the bars, and he starts to beat on him to say, "Keep your mouth shut, we've got guests." And you make your way to the next room, and the next room, and the horrors continue to persist. But finally, you make it to cell block J. Cell block J is a little bit different. It is the most maximum security. So there are iron bars everywhere. The inmates are only 1-to-1 cell, and they're all very close together. And as you walk down, you finally reach J12, and there you see on the board says Detective Larry Croswell.
Give him his title and everything.
Yes. And so from there, Jared says, "I think this is the guy you're looking for." And with that, Larry, who has been badly beaten, comes up to the cage and he's kind of looking at you, Johnny, as he recognizes you.
Uncle Larry?
Johnny, oh my God, you made it. I'm glad you were able to visit, son. It's been a tough couple days here. If you would like, I would suggest that you ask for privacy. because Jared is still lingering, watching your conversation.
That's true. Get a little private time. Just a boy to uncle.
Boy to uncle. All right. It's not like I wanted to be here anyways. And you see that Jared kind of walks back to where the beginning of the thing. He's not leaving you guys completely alone. He's still there, but he's like preoccupied outside. He's not outside. He's like further back into the cell block. So just like with other inmates or other patients at the asylum. Not really paying attention to you guys. So you know you have some privacy now. And then Larry, I think he notices that Jared has now left, and he's just like, he jumps up and he goes close to the cell bars, and he's just like, oh my God, Johnny, thank you God you got my message. I know you're so young, but you're the only one I could talk to about this. And
we're all around as well, right? Or is it just
all of you are there? All four of you are crowded around. And he says to John, he says, "Who is this you brought with you, son?"
They're the pals from the city. We got the sheriff who brought me here, and Alistair, Mr. Alistair, you know him.
Alistair, the radio man. Yeah, I know him. Good, you got a journalist too. That's great.
Then we also have this guy who I guess came along. He's kind of just here.
I think, Larry comes and he like pushes his hands through the cage, and he's like holding onto your guys' hands, and he's so thankful that you've come to the asylum. And
notice anything on his hands or face or like?
You just notice that he's beaten and that his fingernails have almost been shredded off. With him trying to claw out of his prison cells, you can see the marks along the back wall. And as he, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, is he grabbing hold of anyone?
I think he's like gone through and he's like, shooken all your hands like this and grabbing on and saying like, "Thank you so much for coming."
I'm a little grossed out because I'm a little bit of like a clean freak, and it was like, hey, pleasure is ours. But what is your business with good old Johnny boy?
Business with Johnny? Johnny's my nephew. He's like, we're family, kin. Who are you, Mr. Alistair? And then I think as he, gets it, and he's like, oh, avoiding the draft because of an overbite. Maybe you avoided the draft because of your squeamishness.
And listen here there, mister.
He has a copy of the newspaper.
And I think Larry cuts it off immediately, though, and he says, listen, I'm not here to argue. I checked myself into here. I had seen some unnatural things the previous weeks, and I checked myself in here, and I've made a huge mistake. Something is very wrong with Danvers State Hospital. We're kept like prisoners, and we're very afraid of the staff, especially Dr. Berger. He is just wants to leave as bad as possible. He has to get out of J Ward. He's not been allowed to leave, even after expressing that he wants to leave, even after he voluntarily checked himself in. He looks behind at the other person in the cell behind him, and he says, Andrew, tell him, Andrew, that they're keeping us like prisoners trapped in here. As you turn around, you see Andrew McBride, and it's written on his cell door. And he looks like he has been through it. He is gaunt, like he has been starved, and his head is completely shaved. And he looks like he's truly been a prisoner. And Croswell's kind of telling you that McBride is as touched as the others, yet also he seems to know what is really going on here. And then Croswell lets you know that that Dr. Berger told him that Croswell would be in for quite the experience in the sky when they welcome the next new moon. and it's filled Croswell with dread as he knows that something very bad will happen on the next full moon, or on the next new moon, excuse me.
How long do we know in between the moon cycles?
Right now, you do not know, but you will be able to make a lunar calendar check after you've left this place. So he is basically just sitting there over and over again, begging you to let him out. He says, "I'm not violent. I haven't been violent at all. They just threw me in here because I was getting too close to the truth." And he's like, "Johnny, I know you're so young, but please help me get out of here. Your mom can't lose another one of us. She's already lost her husband and her sister. She can't handle this."
Oh, jeez. They got you real good. Mr. Silas, you seen anything like this in the Great War?
I haven't seen anything like this. What you said, close to the truth. What have you seen down here?
They every new moon, apparently they take a new person and that person's never seen again. And we all have to go to the auditorium. I haven't been here myself through it, but Andrew, he knows, he's seen it. Andrew kind of is in the back and he says, he's kind of rambling though. He's not all there, but he says like, "Yep, if you're chosen, you're never coming back. Once we all go to the auditorium, you're never coming back." But that's about all you can make out. And at that point, Jared, the orderly, returns, and as one last plea, Croswell says, "Please, by the next new moon, please." And Jared begins to escort you out of J-Wing, saying, "Come on, we gotta go. Your time's up." And he will take you, and he says, he starts leading you back to the beginning of the hospital.
Yeah, and I showed Jared my badge, and I say, "Hey, before we go, I'd like to check out some other areas in this place. Maybe like the Dr. Burger, doctor office, maybe the auditorium, something like that, you know."
I'll take...
Surprise.
Yeah.
He said, "I'll take you to Dr. Burger, and that's as much as I'm gonna do." And he starts leading you back. You begin to notice, though, about C Block, that same chalk drawing that you saw, that Silas saw in the water, there's been some sort of an accident, and you see the same image has been written in blood, as a young woman lays there kind of lying passed out from blood loss, and she had made this same symbol that you had just seen.
I'd probably look over to Silas and, "Hey, Mr. Silas, is this all normal?"
Nothing about this place is normal. Because he just like keeps walking, and he just is like fed up kind of with his whole job, but he's like gotta get down to the bottom of this. And, yeah, he looks over.
Perfect.
I'd probably just look over to Philip real quick and be like, "I don't think we're supposed to be here, Mr. Phillip. I think I made a mistake."
So as you see this, this horrible scene of this bloody drawing, all of you will make a sanity roll.
So how do we?
Okay.
What's the roll?
So we roll a D100, right?
D100, yep.
We're trying to get
That's 2
underneath
dice, right?
Oh,
our
boy.
sand. Yeah.
Yep, it's the 2 dice, so it's a
Little
D100.
Johnny can't hit. Little Johnny's not ready to handle the horrors.
Ooh. Oh wait. Wait.
Oh,
What's the double? The double zero is 0.
0. Yeah.
0.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I also
got a 3.
doubles. We keep getting.
Hell, oh, we got doubles. Okay, our dice
Wow.
are connected.
Is it this one?
Yeah.
I got a 9.
You're gonna use 2.
It's the 2 that
Okay.
looks exactly like that.
You're gonna use both
Okay.
of them, though,
But
with
this
it.
one doesn't have like double zero, but still use this one, right?
Yeah.
That's your
Use
single
both.
dice.
Use both of
Use
them
both of
together.
them.
Okay.
And you add up
So the
numbers
doubles would be
together.
like 30 if it says 30, and then if you get a 4 on the other one's 34.
Does this mean I got 48 then?
Does it have a 40 and an 8?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes, then you have 48. Okay, it sounds like everybody passed.
Yeah. My
Is that
sanity
correct?
is 90.
What was the passing?
What is your sanity score?
40.
So you failed.
Okay.
He can use luck points. He's a lucky son gun.
Yeah, I think that's a good call again. So for the people who pass the sanity roll, nothing happens, but your breath is stolen from you. I think as the full horrors of this place has sunken in to what you've seen.
Si's
for the
trying to play cool, but he's fucking sweating right here.
Yeah.
He's just trying to be a big man here in front of all these guys, but he's like, "Fuck, what the hell's happening in this crazy podunk town?"
All of us are scared.
And for the people who failed, you're going to roll a D2. If you don't have a D2, you can roll a D4 and a 1 and a 1 and a 2 will be 1, and a 3 and a 4 would be 2.
Flip a coin,
I
bro.
don't have a.
He's got fucking cash on him.
yeah.
Just fucking flip a
You
coin.
should have,
He's got a
you
point.
have a 4.
All
It's
right,
this
all
one.
right.
Go for it's a little triangle.
Yeah, but a coin would be cooler.
I got
Oh,
a.
yeah, a coin works.
I got a 2.
Okay, so you'll subtract 2 sanity.
So
One or
could be
2 sanity.
Could be 1 sanity. 'cause
One
you're
sanity.
to
Oh yeah, you got yeah, okay.
One or two.
So I'm at 39 sanity now.
Yep.
Okay, 39.
But remember what your original sanity was. Okay, so you now approach the superintendent's office, which is Dr. Berger. You see up on the wall. And he Jared the orderly kind of knocks on it and is like, Dr. Berger, we've got some interesting men here to see you. And he's like kind of like, the local sheriff is here. And Dr. Berger is very cool, calm, and collected though, and he's like, well, come on in, sirs, have a seat. And you all there's only 2 chairs though, so you kind of have to pick who gets to sit and who has to stand. But he welcomes you into his office.
I think Silas and Alistair are about the ones.
Oh yeah, I'll say.
I'm gonna stand in the back with Johnny. And just be like,
I'm a little freaked out, but I'm alright.
And you notice that Dr. Berger's office is like, it is very nice though in comparison to what the rest of the building is. Still kind of spooky, but it has nice lush plants and it has a big bookshelf in the back with like several psychiatric tomes on it. And there's a nice big window that shows like the light outside and stuff like that. So his office is rather pleasant actually. But the man himself is very severe looking, very pointed. His teeth are amazingly all straight, but he has close together beady eyes that are very dark. He has a pretty severe widow's peak, and it's starting to gray. And he says, "Now, well, gentlemen, what can I help you with today?"
How long have you been over this establishment?
Oh, I've been in charge here since 1925. It's been a long run. 22 years, or 20 years is pretty good, huh?
Yeah, it has been. What all kind of stuff are you guys doing over here?
Oh, well, just the standard medical practice for the criminally insane. All these people are in here for a reason, and we try to treat them accordingly.
What defines someone as critically insane?
Criminally insane? Well, they must have committed some sort of law to get in here, or if their family checks them in, they've been deemed unfit for society. Really.
What are you doing with Johnny Boy's granddaddy or uncle? Dad.
And who is his uncle?
Johnny Boy.
That would be Larry.
Uncle.
Croswell.
Uncle Mr. Alistair.
Larry Croswell. Well, Larry Croswell, he is quite dangerous. He went delusional about a week ago. He tried to stab an orderly, actually. So he's not going to be released anytime soon.
Even though he checked himself in?
It doesn't matter what he did here was wrong. You try to stab an orderly, you're in here for a while. Psychiatric hold for at least a month.
At least a month, okay. It's good to know.
At least a month.
I probably look, Johnny Boy. Would your uncle try to shoot anyone or stab anyone?
Look, my my uncle's the kindest guy I know. He's got a few things to say about those Asians, but
Them Japs?
You say Japs and size spits on the ground. Out of reflex.
Had to.
So if any of you guys think you have it, most people back in the 40s carried a small pocket calendar, and on the pocket calendar would have been a lunar cycle on it. So if any of you would like to do an investigation, I don't think it's called that though. I'm trying to think of what it's called.
Is it not under library?
You can check. No, it's you can check your lunar calendar. I think it might just be you can check the lunar calendar actually. So one of you, whoever would like to, can check their lunar calendar, and I can give you some more information on when the new moon is.
I don't know if I would have one.
I don't think Silas would have that.
I feel like Philip would
Probably would have one.
have
Have
with
one,
all
yeah.
his notes and things.
So Philip, I think you would open it, and we're in April, so you pulled it up, and you're kind of looking. You're like, you've scratched out the days as they go, and you're looking, and you're like new moon, and you know that the new moon is in 4 days from now, well past the 30 days that he's going to be stuck in this asylum.
Nice.
So he just got telling us that he'll be being here for quite a while.
Yeah.
A month of psychiatric hold.
And so Dr. Berger, though, is insistent. Absolutely, under no circumstances is he being released. And he's, stern. There's no chance of persuading him. And unless you guys would like to try something, I think at that point, Dr. Berger stands up and he insists on escorting you out.
I would probably be like, Dr. Berger, what's the Johnny Boy's uncle mentioned something about Arboretum. What's that?
Arboretum. There's no Arboretum here. We do have an auditorium, if that's what you're referring.
That's the one I'm talking about.
Well, it's exactly what you think it is. It's an auditorium for the patients so they can enjoy plays. Nothing nefarious. It's just a little, once a month on the new moon, we might have a little performance.
Well, speaking of performances, I don't know if you know about this, but I know a thing or two about performances. You mind if I go ahead and take a look and check out the acoustics?
No, I think our visit's here done. I'm not going to let a hack like the local news radio broadcast man search around my asylum. And at that point, he's insisting that you go, as he is escorting you personally out of the building.
Gotcha. And Silas, he says, "Thank you, sir," and gives him like a little nod and walks out with them.
Perfect. So as you get back into your car, the car seems to start normally. You do kind of hear something a little bit strange, but you don't think too much of it.
Johnny Boy, hand me another cigarette.
Yeah, because I have the pack right now.
Yeah, everyone he passes it out. Silas grabs it as well.
He just hands it up.
Passing them out to everyone.
Well, everyone's smoking in the car. The windows are all rolled up.
It's 1940s, bro. Everyone's smoking.
No, everyone's smoking.
Windows are rolled up.
Windows. Yeah.
I don't think Philip was smoking. I think Philip was checking the notes again, and he tells the group that it's the new moon.
New moon. Mm-hmm.
New moon will be in 4 days. So
The new moon. Is that when you don't see it?
that's,
Oh, no, I'm
that'd
asking
be
you.
cool. Oh, you're.
I'm asking like, care about the new moon. Is that the moon where it's like there's no moon?
Yeah, that's the moon where you don't see the reflection of the sun. So there ain't no way or Johnny's uncle is getting anywhere before that new moon, boys. Is there something we can follow up on with that? Because he seemed real desperate.
So Oh, go ahead.
I was like, Mrs. Silas, is there should we like check it out or I mean, what's the dealio? We just basically got kicked out of your investigation. Don't you have free reign to go do whatever you want? Go shoot guns at places.
Normally,
Silas would know, even though he is still new to town, that there's a couple places that he would want to get more information from. So the first one is going to be the local library, which is the Peabody Institute Library. And this was established like with the military library. There's then also the Phillips Library, which is just like the local library that's like next to the sheriff's office. It's like, just a little podunky thing. There's the Historical Society in town, which just has, information about Alamogordo's history. There's the town hall. So just, where you guys have your local gatherings and has also some history about the town. And then there is 2 newspapers. So the Alamogordo newspaper and the Danvers Herald. So I will say that we are at a good stopping point if we want to stop. I would say we probably have, though, 2 or 3 hours left. So we can either try to push it, but I know it's already 10 for our East Coast people. So it's up to you guys. No, Zorphius is East Coast as well.
Yeah.
I'm okay, but I would say it's up to you guys. So if we want to go 2 more hours, we can, but it's up to you.
I am still fine.
All right.
I'm chill with whatever. I open tomorrow, but fuck it. I'm having.
I'm having a good
He's in. Yeah.
Can we take like a 2-minute break? So
let's take some. Yeah.
I just gotta ask there, Mr. Phillip, is that library related to you, better deal?
No.
You own a library, Mr. Phillip?
No, we don't own the library.
Also, your first name is Phillips. It's like the Phillips Library, like usually. Oh,
you never know. You gotta ask these questions.
Well,
that level of vanity is reserved for radio talk show hosts.
Those are all things that I knew, but I was gonna say Silas would have brought those up to you guys of like, like, hey, there's a mystery. There's definitely something up here. I'm still getting used to this town, but these are my local sources. So, yeah, after the break, I'll come back and we'll play some things.
Alright, good.
Yeah.
Alright, good. Break.
Maybe.
Come back at like 9:20. Does that work for everyone?
6 minutes.
Yeah.
Or like 6 minutes. 20 minutes after.
Yes, small little break. Whoa. I'll put on my jacket after. Maybe I'll get a new one. Alice just gotta change. He's very particular about his uniforms. Scooby-Dooby-Doo, where are you? I need peanut butter jelly sandwich. Let me take a look. What time is it?